everybody, welcome to Everything But Therapy today. We're talking about this idea of setting boundaries and if you're a selfish person for setting boundaries. Lots of times when we're talking to people, whether in therapy or coaching, and we're telling them some about their need to set boundaries, people really push back because they feel like they'll look selfish if they set boundaries, and they'll feel really guilty for setting boundaries.
Any stories shared in this podcast have had names and details changed for the confidentiality of clients. Any resemblance to someone real is coincidental.
So today that's what we're talking about, why it's not actually selfish to set boundaries. So Jaden, how do you explain this to some of your clients or people you work with?
I think first, what I see most often is that it's people's first assumption that setting boundaries is like a selfish act, right? You do it for you. And so I like to push back on that though, because when I think of setting boundaries and when I'm working with people on setting boundaries, it's not really about you in the selfish sense. It's about the preservation of your relationships, which is inherently not that selfish. So I think of setting boundaries as something that you do so that you're like maintaining harmony with other people in your life. Like you don't set boundaries just because you want to and it's fun, you want to cut people out. You set boundaries because you want to enjoy other people and have their presence and have their relationships with you.
Yeah, you want to enjoy them and you want them to be able to enjoy you.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen without some boundaries.
Right, and in the hopes that you're holding boundaries with them and they are holding boundaries with you, and because of that we can all get along really, really well.
Yeah. Josh, how about you?
I think I would probably tag on to exactly what Jaden said. One of the things we talked about prior to starting the filming was that having a fairly set of boundaries, a firm set of boundaries, helps preserve relationships because people know exactly what they can expect, right? And the example that I used when we were talking about this was, you guys are welcome to text me you can text me whenever, but if you text me at 10 p.m., you can just expect that I'm not going to respond until the next day because I'm dead to the world at 10 p.m. You guys are probably just getting started for the night, but I'm like gone, right? But I also recognize when it's 4:30 in the morning, I probably should not text you guys because you've set expectations that you don't wake up that early.
You can, I won't respond. You're welcome to.
No, you're not welcome to. Don't text me at 4:30 in the morning.
As Cher's up at 5 anyways, it's fine.
Yeah.
But my point is I think sometimes setting those boundaries, it's not selfish because it helps other people be aware of what they can and can't do within the relationship with you, right? I think you're giving people a very set way of how to interact with you. And I actually think that's more selfless than selfish.
Yeah, I think that's really
fair?
true.
Does that sound fair?
Well, and one of the other things that I would say is that in some of our communities and in society in general, we get this idea that being the person who's always giving service and self-sacrificing means that you're this amazing, wonderful person. And I would push back at that a little bit and say, no, there's a point at which that's actually not even healthy to be doing. And if we give other people the idea that we can just give and give and give, that isn't actually a good thing. And it actually isn't fair to them or to ourselves. Part of being able to set boundaries in a way that isn't selfish is by saying, hey, look, we're all human. We all get to be equal. And I don't expect myself to do so much more than I would expect somebody else to do. It's about having more fairness overall. And so I think it's important to look at it that way. Setting boundaries is healthy for you, but it's also healthy for other people because you're really demonstrating to them that you don't expect them to go out of their way to the point of being unhealthy as well.
Yeah, I like framing it like expectations, kind of like I feel like is what both of you guys are pointing towards, where like a quick example, as a therapist, I will tell my clients, you can text me anytime. I will respond within 24 hours, but I'm probably not going to respond after 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., because that's a boundary I have so that I can have time with my family and not have to worry about work stuff. And you could see that as selfish, right? Like, oh, how dare he not be open and available to me at 24/7. But like you said, I think it actually is really helpful because if I hadn't set that boundary and they text me at 7 o'clock expecting a response, they're gonna be really disappointed when they don't get one, or frustrated, or put off, or whatever. But it's me setting that boundary, I think, is helpful for the whole relationship, because they know, oh, if it's 7 o'clock and I text him, I'm not gonna get a response till tomorrow, and our relationship therefore is just fine. No one's mad at anyone.
Let me throw one other twist on this about the importance of boundaries that's not necessarily relationship preservation, although I guess long term it could be. We don't live in an idealistic utopian society, and so sometimes we have this we have these goals or these desires or the way that things should be, and then we try and do the things that should be done. I'm all about finding ways to contribute to other people. If somebody down the street needs help, calls, like, yeah, do what you can to help them within your capacity to help. So I'm all about contributing to others. However, there is a reality, a non-utopian society, where you just don't really have anything else to give. You know, if I go back to the whole sleep thing, I'm happy to help and give and do what I can, but there comes a very real reality around 10 p.m. that, like, my body starts to shut down. And so if somebody called, like if one of you guys called in an emergency, like I probably could make that happen today at midnight, and maybe tomorrow at midnight. But after that, like, I don't know that you want me babysitting while you're in the hospital for something. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe fall asleep.
Yeah, which then puts your child at risk that I'm babysitting.
Sure.
And so I know that sounds kind of like an extreme example, but there's a reality that I'm not going to give you or loan you any more money because I don't have it to give or to loan, right? I'm not going to come over and babysit because I'm going to fall asleep. I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z because the reality is I am actually incapable of it. And so as much as I love the idea of contributing and I encourage people to find ways to help others, there's a very real, I have to set this because I actually can't do this. Which, that's a whole nother topic, and it's hard to come to the realization of things you can't do, but it is real.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's probably a good idea for another video. I always tell them, I ask myself this, and I tell my clients, ask them, am I a volunteer or a victim?
A volunteer or a victim?
Yep. When it comes to giving and helping, right?
Right.
Oh, that's intriguing. I'm going to be spending some time thinking about that.
I am too. I actually really like that. Am I a volunteer or am I a
Maybe we can do it in
victim?
another video after we've all thought about it some more.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
I'm like option C, voluntold. It's fine. Which I guess means victim, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. And bottom line, setting boundaries with other people actually preserves your relationships with them. It isn't selfish. It just helps people know what to expect. So thanks, and like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We've got other videos for you to check out and more exciting things coming soon. So thank you.